I'm sure you're familiar with long division. We learned it all in like second grade, but as a bit of a review, let's just take a look at one problem now. So let's take 7 divided by 51,186. So the first thing is always that you need to look into is how many times does the 7 go into the 5? The answer is 0 times. So you move over, and how many times does 7 go into 51? Well, 7 times, and 7 times 7 is equal to 49. So you multiply these by each other, and then drop that down, subtract it, and you get 2. How many times does 7 go into 2? 0 times. So you drop down the 1, and ask yourself, how many times does 7, 21? Well, 3 exactly, since 7 times 3 is equal to 21. So 3, drop down the 21, subtract it, you get 0. Now you bring down the 8. And 7 goes into 0 times. How many times does 7 go into 8? Well, 1 time. So 7 times 1 is equal to 7, subtract, and you get 1. Now you bring down the 6. 7 doesn't go into 1 at all. And you have 7, how many times does 7 go into 16? Goes in twice. So 7 times 2 is equal to 14, subtract, and you get 2. So your answer for this is 7,312. Remainder is equal to 2. Now, division of polynomials is very similar. All you need to do is add a polynomial divide. So let's take 7 or x minus 1 divided by 4x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 3. Okay, so same idea. How many times does x minus 1 go into 4x cubed? It doesn't. So let's move on there and say, how many times does x minus 1 go into 4x cubed minus 2x squared? Now you want to automatically get rid of this 4x cubed. So how many times does x go into 4x cubed? Well, x goes into 4x cubed 4x squared times. So let's plug that in up here. And you ask yourself, how many times does you multiply your 4x cubed, or excuse me, 4x squared by x minus 1, and you get 4x cubed minus 4x squared. Now, just like basic long division, you subtract it. Now you get 0 here, of course, which is what you want. And then you add 4x squared to negative 2x squared, and you get 2x squared. Now, just like normal long division, you drop down the x. And you have 2x squared plus x. Now, how many times does x go into 2x squared? It goes in 2x times. So 2x. Multiply that by x, and you get 2x squared minus 2x. Subtract it, and you get 3x, and 0 here, of course, because they cancel out. Drop down the 3, and the negative 3, and you do the same process over again, except that there's no x values in this one. So x goes into 3x 3 times, so 3x plus minus 3. Subtract these, and you get 0. So your answer for this one, 4x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 3 divided by x minus 1 is equal to 4x squared plus 2x plus 3. The remainder is equal to 0. Now let's do another example here, except with the degree being equal to 4. So let's try x plus 2 divided by x to the 4th power plus 0x cubed minus 3x squared plus x minus 5. So if you know how to do this, I encourage you to pause the video right now and do this before I do this. So here's your example. Here's your time to do that. Okay, so I'm assuming that you did it, but here, just to make sure you got it right, let's go over it. So how many times does x go into x to the 4th power? It goes in x cubed times. So that is equal to x to the 4th power plus 2x cubed. Subtract them, and you get negative 2x cubed. Drop down to 3x squared, so minus 3x squared. Ask yourself, how many times does x go into negative 2x cubed? Goes in negative 2x squared times. So then you multiply out the 2x squared, so you get negative 2x cubed minus 4x squared. Subtract these, and you get x squared plus, and you drop down the x. You ask yourself, how many times does x go into x squared? Well, it goes into x times. So x squared plus 2x, subtract, and you get negative x. And drop down to 5, and you have negative x minus 5, and, excuse me, x goes into to negative x negative 1 time. So you have negative x minus 2, and you subtract, and you get negative 3. And your final answer here, to x to the 4th minus 3x squared plus x minus 5 divided by x plus 2 is equal to x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 1. And there you have it. Long division.